The key to avoiding cervical cancer is to get regularly screened through a pap smear. And now with the HPV vaccination, doctors are even more confident that we can drive those cervical cancer numbers down. We sat down with gynecologic oncologist Trung Nguyen from UCSF Fresno to learn more. Today we are talking about cervical cancer and the HPV vaccination. Thank you so much for joining me today, doctor. What is cervical cancer and the HPV vaccination?
Cervical cancer is a disease that affected about 14,000 women a year in the U.S. and about 4,000 of these women will die from this disease. The problem is that we have effective screening method and vaccination that can prevent this disease, yet our women still die from it.
So talk to us about those prevention efforts.
Number one, screening. Pap smear it has been demonstrated and has been very effective in screening for cervical cancer. Not that long ago, in the 1940s, cervical cancer was #1 killer for women in terms of cancer. And since pap smear was introduced, the rate of cervical cancer death had drastically improved, almost more than 75%.
And why is that? Is it because the screenings can pick up precancerous cells?
Correct. So it's get a swab of the cervical tissues and test this for any abnormality. It's not a diagnostic test for cervical cancer, it's a screening test.
How often should a woman go get a pap smear?
It depends on age range. So it's very simple to remember. If you're 21 and older, it's good to get a pap smear every 3 years. And 30 and above, there's different way of doing it. It's either with pap smear alone, with pap smear with HPV testings, or even with HPV testings alone. I think the best message is to get in to see your doctor regularly. We have vaccines for HPV at this point for boys and girls started as early as age 9. The target age is between 11 and 12. Up to the age of 26, last year FDA has been approved for HPV vaccine to age 45. And HPV vaccine can prevent up to 90% of HPV infections, and it prevents numerous cancer, not just cervical cancer, but other HPV-related cancers such as anogenital cancer, head and neck cancer. Way too often I see patients come into my office as oncologists. The message is, I've never thought it was me. That I think, way often I do not want to hear that. I do not want our women to let our guard down. We wear a seatbelt, we wear life vests to go on a boat. Let's get pap smear. I'm drawn to the Central Valley because there are certain pockets of Central Valley. When I was at Stanford, I see women coming from this area often have a more advanced disease, late diagnosis. Statistically, study demonstrates certain pockets of different counties and certain part of the county have very high rate of cervical cancer. And my hope is to get the message out. At the end of the day, knowledge is power.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Nguyen. Knowledge is power. Thank you.